This is The Sports Life.
Down it goes. It's Cooper. There you go. There's your slam, and that'll do it. Here comes Louisville. 5 seconds to go. Conwell with a 3-ball. He missed, and this game is over. Final score from Buffalo. Michigan State 77. Louisville 69, and we're going to the Sweet 16 for the second straight season.
Not bad for the green and white, a team that was picked middle of the pack at best in the Big Ten this year. As always with a Tom Izzo team, it seems like they're beginning to play their best coming down the stretch. Well, in terms of our show this week, we have an interesting show. And one of the elements, we had a moment to sit down and talk with Jaxon Kohler, one of the frontline players for Michigan State, their power forward. And we had a chat before the tournament began. And he's a very insightful individual. And his conversation and where it took us was, I don't know, got my attention.
It'll be a lot of fun to see if it gets everybody else's attention just as well with Jaxon Kohler. But, of course, he's involved right now in the NCAA tournament as he's a part of that Michigan State group. That NCAA tournament has provided so many different memories for us throughout the years, right? When you think about the Final Four and everything that's happened, somebody who's really helped kind of laid the framework for all those iconic moments that are in our head is Rick LaLonde, who's been a statistician with CBS Sports, and he helps provide all the research to the broadcasters that really kind of shape and mold those Final Four moments. We'll have a conversation with him later on as well.
Well, in terms of the sounds of the week, what are you thinking?
We got maybe the best sound of all because we know what the elephant in the room was. Nebraska men's basketball is the lone Power 4 team in the country to not have a NCAA tournament win. Well, that all changed. This past weekend, the Huskers finally got the win. They defeated Troy 76-47, and longtime voice of the Nebraska Huskers on the men's basketball side, Kent Pavelka, had this as his final call.
0.4 to go. 76-47. $76-47. This place is going to erupt. It's going to absolutely erupt. And here they dribble it out. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left to go. And there's the horn. There's the game. Nebraska's first NCAA win in history in Oklahoma City over the Troy Trojans. It's all over. It's all over. All the years going home from conference tournaments, sitting in front of the television, and the ache in the pit of your stomach wishing you could be there. And then getting to the NCAA once in a while and not winning. All that's history now. And not being a part of it, you know, now you don't have to go home and watch and dream. Watch and dream.
Never again can they say Nebraska has not won an NCAA tournament game.
Watch and dream, and now you can watch and dream and listen on Saturday and see if the Huskers can do this again. How about that, boys?
How about that, Dalton? And it was kind of interesting. Kent has been at the job of calling Nebraska basketball pushing 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. 40 years, one win. I mean, Michigan State's going back to the Sweet 16 for the 17th time in my tenure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tom Izzo, by the way,
Right.
and all the players. And so, I mean, we're counting Sweet 16 appearances. He only needs one hand to count every win he's called in almost 4 decades. Some of us have it really good.
No, it's true. And I think, too, the other thing, Will, is it goes to show in college sports, everybody's running their own race, right? And we take so much regional pride in all the different institutions. And like you bring up Michigan State, that race is looking for a second national championship under head coach Tom Izzo. It's certainly getting back to what would maybe be a 9th Final Four with Michigan State and Tom Izzo leading. For other schools like Nebraska and what that program's history's been, it serves that making a Sweet 16 is the race there. And of course, you wait and see what you could do from there, but that is a monumental crowning moment in that program's history.
And when you listen to what Kent said, how heartfelt was that?
I know.
Man.
It captured it perfectly. And As he said, you get the chance then to listen a couple days later to see if they beat Vanderbilt in the round of 32 to go to the Sweet 16, and they did. But not without drama. This was a really close finish, and this was a shot that was a millimeter away from falling for Vanderbilt. Here's the final game sequence once again with Nebraska voice Kent Pavelka.
Hole puts it up, missed it, put back up and in by Mass. We got a tie game at 72, 39.4 seconds left to go in Oklahoma City. A trip to the Sweet 16 in Houston, Texas on the line here. 33-32 with the ball. Cherokee swings it right side in the midcourt. 18 on the shot clock. Tanner's got it against Hoiberg. 72 apiece. It is 23 seconds, 22. Tanner right side, they hedge him. He drives Hoiberg. He nearly fell down. He's on the dribble. Baseline, no shot for him. Gives it over to Nickel. 4 on the shot clock. In the paint, shot on the way, no good. Rebound Nebraska. Huskers have it, 9 seconds left to go. Well, across the timeline to Price. To Frager. Layup. Yes! Yes! It's good. 2.2. It's good. Long shot, no good. With 2.2 to go. Handed the ball. Gets it in. 2 seconds. Half-court shot on the way. Oh, my God. It's no good. Oh, my Lord. In and out at the buzzer. Nebraska to the Sweet 16. It is a miracle finish for Nebraska. And it was destined to happen. It was destined to happen. Nebraska's going to the Sweet 16. A half-court miss by Tanner, and it was halfway, 3/4 of the way down. It popped out, and I have never broadcast a game like this in my lifetime, and I've done this since 1974. Listen to Nebraska's crowd.
That's a neutral site. That's not a home game for Nebraska. Man, those fans are something. I worry about Kento going to the Sweet 16. I don't know if his heart is going to take enough one of these things, man.
Well, remember we played one of his calls earlier this season where they hit a shot and he said, I think I'm going to pass out.
It's unbelievable. And you know, back when early in the season, Nebraska had that nice winning streak going, and then they hosted Michigan State, which was like the big game of the moment. Are they for real? They won that one. And they went to Illinois. They won that when that's where Kent was going to pass out, right?
That's right.
But anyway, so at the end of it all, what we've discovered with Coach Hoiberg and his crew, they are for real, and they're really good. And they finished second this year in this incredible Big Ten race. Anyway, when we come back with more of the Sports Life Show, we're going to talk to one of the guys who has proven if you work hard enough, it'll pay off. That's Jaxon Kohler of Michigan State. It's all coming up in just a moment.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If you have diabetes, listen up. If you have insurance, you can qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends and spend more time in range, significantly lowering your A1C. More importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate, painful finger sticks. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and if you've seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, insurance, you may qualify for your own CGM right now. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances will cover your CGM, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the Aptiva Medical CGM Health Hotline right now.
800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. 800-948-6912. That's 800-948-6912.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor?
Yes, I am.
Yay.
My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
And welcome back for more of The Sports Life. Will Tiemann here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, Michigan State men's basketball coach Tom Izzo, for all 31 years of his tenure, has talked about the value of the process. And in Izzo land, the process means allowing players time to develop into the players he knows they can be. Now, a prime example of that is Michigan State senior power forward Jaxon Kohler. He goes 6'10", and he weighs in at 245. Kohler, who calls American Fort Utah home, was part of the high school group whose recruiting class was severely hampered by the COVID pandemic. In his first season, which was 2022-23, he played in 34 games as he began his Spartan apprenticeship. Then came his sophomore season. That began with a foot injury that required surgery, costing him valuable preseason training and missing the first 13 games of that season. Then as a junior, he was back on track, and this time around, the senior captain became the Big Ten second leading rebounder and posted the second most double-doubles. During his first 3 seasons at Michigan State, he scored a total of 433 points. His point total so far this season, his senior year, will eclipse that number. He has developed into Michigan State's leading rebounder and, of all things, the team's best three-point shooter, which is what Tom Izzo would call the benefits of the process. Well, before this year's NCAA tournament began, we had a chance to visit with Jaxon Kohler, and we began our conversation talking about the experience of playing for Tom Izzo.
Man, it it takes me a second to, sum it all up, but he is one of the best, he's probably one of the best people that I've ever been around in my life, because he cares about his people so much that he doesn't care what it takes for you to succeed. I mean, a lot of nice people, have a nice approach, or they don't, get after their guys a lot because they want to stay nice. But his way is a lot different. He wants his people to succeed and make it as far as they can. And sometimes that means, put them through a very difficult journey. It's easy to say that on the court, he, gets crazy, or, he gets really intense, but it all comes from love. And my first year and a half, I didn't understand it the way I do now, because I was just trying to survive. That's something that when you're here, you really just have to learn how to do it. You have to learn to survive, without, kind of without your parents, always behind you, you kind of have to, look at yourself in the mirror and see what you can handle. And he pushes that every day. I could go on and on and on, but the relationship I have with Coach Izzo, man, it's nothing that I have with anybody else. And if he asked me to do anything, I wouldn't hesitate for a moment.
You're a good player. It's now time to pick a college. The journey to Michigan State, how did that happen?
Man, I mean, I've been here for so long. I kind of, it's been so long since I kind of forgot or remembered that journey, but it's something that will always stick with me for the rest of my life. I mean, I remember, especially around the time that I was looking at schools, the pandemic hit, COVID hit, and it kind of really, changed the process of what it was like to be recruited by colleges, because a lot of schools were shut down and, they either canceled their entire high school basketball season. You had to kind of look for more opportunities in the summer to go play camps, where coach would see. You never knew if you were, going to get seen by any of these colleges because of the pandemic. But it was after my junior year of high school. I was playing in American Fork, Utah, and I had an opportunity to go out to Southern California. And they played a schedule that a lot of college coaches, went to go see players at specific tournaments. And I also was at a lot of camps because that was kind of the last year for my class that they were doing it, like kind of, last showcase. I think Michigan State saw me either at Peach Jam or at the Top 100 camp. And ever since then, they've been, really awesome about staying in touch. Coach Monty was the one who recruited me. He was in touch with me a lot. And it wasn't until that I came onto campus and I went straight from the airport to Coach's office. And then 5 minutes into my meeting with Coach in his office, Gabe Brown came in and he was like, "Yo, Jax, what's up, man?" And I'll never forget that, because that made me feel like it's not just the coaches that know me or want me to play. Like, the players actually know me too. And that welcome that they gave me made such a great first impression on me about not only the coaches, but the players who are here, the people that they are. And from start to finish, I just had an amazing time. I really, connected well with the guys. And it was also during Grand Week too. So I also got to witness what it was like for players to play and then come back and experience that family kind of relationship that everybody has with each other.
Okay, a few more questions. One is, what drives you?
The thing that drives me every day is just my pure love for the game. I mean, a lot of people can say that they love this game or they like this game or they live this game, but the evidence is how you feel when you're not playing. Because there's times, when we're supposed to be on break or, we take a day off and my mind is still on basketball. Like, it doesn't feel like I have to. It feels like I get to. Like, I get to be in this position. I get to work out every day. I have the opportunity to. And I feel like I can, really, trying to find the right way to say it, but I feel like when I'm playing basketball every day, I'm just being the best version of myself. And that's something that, I'm always, trying to be better at and better at. And plus, when you have a great group of guys and a great coach and a great coaching staff, it really is the highlight of my week, my year, my life. Like, I just love playing.
Have you ever sat down thinking, if you were me, how you would describe your game? Because you do a lot of things.
Yeah, I would say if I had a chance to watch myself from someone else's perspective, I would want people to say that he's different. He has a different type of motor. He has a different type of mentality. He has a different type of work ethic. That's something that I take a lot of pride in. I consider myself a little bit of a psycho. There's I take great pride in that, even though, all jokes aside, I feel like my mentality is different from everybody else's. Because when I think about the work that I put in or how much this game means to me, sometimes it feels different. It's a little crazy, and I don't see it that way. I just see it like that's just me, and not everybody has to understand it, but it doesn't matter if you understand it or not. I understand it, and that's just my pure love of the game. And also, from a basketball point, I would want people to see that I'm very versatile. I can play in the post. I have great footwork. I have great moves. I can spread the floor. I can shoot. I can I'm a really good passer. I'm trying to be a better playmaker. Yeah. Everyone wants to be a scorer. But something that I've learned being here is how to be more versatile, making great passes out of the post, being a playmaker, being a shooter, being a rebounder. Being a rebounder is actually something that I find just as much joy and pride in as much as scoring or playing defense. That's just something, a part of my game that I want to, keep expanding on, because that's something that I feel like will serve me in the years to come.
So as a big man, the evolution of your game, how long does it take to get to where you are? You come in as a freshman. You're playing against some of the best people in the sport of college basketball. What's the evolution like to get to where you are now?
It's not easy. I'll say that first. Coming out of high school, I felt untouchable, to be honest. Like, I felt like I was on top of the world, because in high school, I had post moves for days that nobody could guard, not double teams could guard, and I felt like I was gonna, be on top of the world. But then I got here and I started over from scratch. And Izzo was very clear that I could take all that high school stuff and leave that in the past. But you know what? Like, looking back on it, I'm really happy that it was that difficult, because I wouldn't be in the position that I'm at right now if it wasn't difficult. If it was easy, I'd probably be struggling now, because I feel like every player has to go through adversity and the mental breakdowns and kind of self-evaluating on what it's like to transfer from high school to college. Because when I got to college, I didn't have the conditioning, I didn't have the body, I didn't have the quickness. I kind of, in a weird way, I felt like I had everything in high school, but then when I got to college, I felt like I had nothing. Like I had to get to work. And so there's a lot of pain in the process. There's a lot of, second guessing yourself. There's a lot of doubt, but that's when you just have to, put your head down and work. And that's where I fell in love with the process of working every day, working on your shot every day, getting better every day, because there's nothing better than going to sleep at night knowing that you got better that day, whether it was in conditioning, whether it was shooting, post work, or just knowing that you got work done, because not everybody's working every day. And I just stuck with that for a long time. And even through an injury with my foot my sophomore year, once I was able to come back, or even when I was hurt, I found a way to get stronger and better in the weight room. And so I just felt like every year I just fell in love with the process of getting better every day, more and more and more. And I feel like that's led to where I am right now.
Okay, 2 more questions. Okay, if there's a guy out there like you were in high school, any advice to give him?
I've thought about this a lot, to be honest, because, first part of this is one thing that I take a lot of pride in is try to be an example and try to tell the people that were in my position once what this is going to be like. Because I wish someone would have told me, or kind of helped me and guided me when I was a freshman, what this is going to be like. Because it was so hard to kind of go through that alone a little bit. I had people in my corner, but it just, it just felt a little different, that's all. And I want to make sure that people coming up, I want to make sure to guide them and tell them, like, hey, if this happens, you just got to do this. You got to stick with this. You got to stick with that. But for the people coming up and coming into college, it is true that you have to leave a lot of stuff in high school behind. But if there's one thing I wish I could have done differently, and giving advice to people coming up, is try to keep that confidence. Don't try to start over mentally, even though you're going into a new world, you're going into a new level. Like, know that you made it. You made it to college for a reason. And don't, just because you're going into a program like this or another program, don't let your confidence start over just because you're starting at a new level. That's one thing I wish I could have done differently. But just keep improving every day. There are so many ways to improve as a player, no matter if you're a guard, forward, center, whatever. There's so many ways to improve. And I feel like the sooner you kind of discover that road to just getting better every single day, whether it's a shooting routine, a workout routine every day, like, try to find that as soon as you can, because so many good things will come out of that. And it's going to get tiring. It's going to get, exhausting at times, but just stick to it, because even though in the moment it may seem like things are really hard and difficult, and there sometimes doesn't feel like there's a way out, or you want to transfer, or whatever you want to do in this crazy world, the one thing that has to stay the same is consistency of work.
Okay, this is a little bit of a crazy question, especially considering you got a lot of games in front of you. Have you had a favorite moment yet in a game?
There's been a lot. I mean, there's been so many moments that I wish I could take a little bit more time to enjoy, but at this place, you don't got time to celebrate, like, hey, I made a big play. No, we're still up 3, or we're down 3, or whatever. I would say there's been a lot this year, at Madison Square Garden. I feel like playing against Kentucky, there was just a lot of great moments where we just played great team basketball. Last year in the Auburn game, that was a really special game for me. Knocking down threes, building confidence in my 3-point game, because it had kind of been on and off a little bit. But shooting the ball in a huge game like that, even though the outcome wasn't what I wanted, that was a very special moment for me. There was one last year, actually, against Nebraska, towards the very end, I was trying to get a double-double and trying to force a bucket, and I turned it over, and I tried to dive for it, and I dove right at Coach Izzo's feet. And if you guys rewatch it, Coach is just bending over and yelling at me, and I'm just like, yep, keep yelling at me, and I'm just like right there. But you know what? That's one thing I actually wish I could do differently, is take time to enjoy those moments, because right now it feels like I can't think of a lot on the spot. But to answer your question before, take time to enjoy this, because now that I'm a senior, I wish I could write down some of these moments that mean so much to me, because sometimes things move so fast that you don't have time to enjoy them, or you don't have time to kind of, remember them.
Some of the thoughts of Michigan State senior forward Jaxon Kohler, who has also been an academic All-Big Ten performer. Well, up next on the Sports Life, a visit with one of the people that frame the Final Four. It's all coming up in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. 800-562-2407. That's 800-562-2407. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, Em, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584, 800-810-1584. That's 800-810-1584.
And welcome back for more of the Sports Life. We'll team in here along with Dalton Shetler. And don't forget, Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners make sense for you. A lot of great stories when it comes to the Final Four and the people that make that event so special. Some you see and some you don't. And one of those people is Rick LaLonde. He's a statistician and a research person for CBS when it comes to college basketball. We had a chance to catch up with him and reflect on some of the great stories over 30-plus years of covering the Final Four with CBS. Well, we began that conversation with me asking, if you're a statistician and a research person, what exactly does that mean?
Well, I said it at courtside, normally behind the official scorer, which is the only individual that sits at the scorer's table and wears a referee shirt, the same as the three guys on the floor. And I can communicate with them by yelling over the voices of about 75,000 people. And if there's a controversy on the floor or something needs to be clarified, I can communicate with him. And I also feed information to the trucks and to a statistician who is sitting beside our announcers as to what is actually taking place on the floor. Because as you know, or as anybody would remember, it takes more than one set of eyes to see everything on that floor, especially when you have 10 people plus three officials walking around getting in each other's way. But there's probably 50 to 75 people that listen to me at the Final Four. People in the studio back in New York, people in the trucks, people at courtside, because I give a lot more detail than what the announcers would be able to give over the air, because they have pictures that tell the story.
When I mention the word researcher, do you do a lot of research before you ever arrive?
Yes, we do as much as we possibly can, and that's where you come up with a lot of the little intricacies, things that normally just the numbers alone don't come up with. And you sit around and you try to think of different things that you can pop up, like different records and things that normally wouldn't be seen at a normal weekday game.
Well, and Rick, I think the normal fan kind of consumes the broadcast and just kind of goes about their merry little way. They don't really see the massive amount of work that's kind of done like this, that's kind of behind the scenes. So you talk about the communication, you talk about some of the different research you put into it. What are some of the different things you do look for in your research that is so unique that casual fans would get to learn just from listening to the broadcast? Because, again, I don't think they're paying attention in the weeds like you are.
Well, first of all, I'm not the only one that does that. We have a crew, statistical crew of many people, not only in New York but in the trucks with us, and everybody contributes. So I'm just one of a team, but. Some of the things that you can come up with. I'll give you a good example. A few years ago, I just said we're sitting around talking, and I came up with the idea. Well, when is the last time a technical foul was called in a national championship game? And we looked it up and verified it, and the last one was 1993 when Chris Webber of Michigan called a timeout against North Carolina when they didn't have any left, and that was a technical foul. Well, I had that record, and I have notes sitting next to me during the game that I keep. And if something pops up, then we can throw it into the computer and put it on the screen right away so people can see it at home. Unfortunately for Michigan, the next time a technical foul was called in a national championship game was when Michigan was playing Villanova. So the same team was called for technical foul, and that was the only one within 30-some years. But that was something that you keep these little ideas and you keep them beside you. And if they come up, you can be used. If they're not, then they just kind of collect dust next to you, but they'll pop up. And I had that beside me for several years before it actually came into play.
Okay, Rick, I'm going to take you down memory lane. You're this youngster in Toledo, Ohio, just looking for a little feedback on your work. What was your reaction 6 weeks after you send your tape to New York? You're actually working for CBS at a NASCAR race.
Well, when I sent the tape up, I was advised by an assistant news director there in Toledo. He said to send it up so I could get a grading and rating on it, because I was trying to get a job somewhere in the South, and I never had any thoughts or ideas that I could get connected to a network. And I sent it up there, and when I got the phone call from George Veras, he was the producer of the NFL Today with Brent Musburger and Jimmy the Greek Snyder and Irv Cross. And he was the producer, and it somehow fell into his hands. And he looked at it and called me and said that my shooting ability was exceptional. And he said I had a talent for being able to follow sports, where a lot of cameramen, can do still shots and set up things and stuff. He said I had an exceptional ability to be able to anticipate and follow sports. But he ended up, and I was listening to him, and I was shocked that he was talking the way he was, that as that I was trying to get a job there, and that's not what I intended to do. But I just, when I picked my jaw up off the floor, I says, "Wow, oh, okay." He says, "Well, I'd like you to work at the Michigan 400, the stock car race in Michigan." He said, "That's close to you." He said, and told me who to see and who to report to, and they would put me to work. And it had just happened to be Bob Stenner, who was the lead producer there, and he went on and he was the lead producer of the NFL football games with John Madden and Pat Summerall, and that's how our working relationship started there. But it was a shock to me to fall into that hole.
And for Rick LaLonde, what a great hole to fall into. We'll be back with more of his story in just a moment when the Sports Life continues.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
If you served honorably in our nation's armed forces and you're looking for a way to continue serving your fellow veterans in your community, then join AMVETS. AMVETS members volunteer millions of hours at VA healthcare facilities from coast to coast, helping to improve the lives of their fellow veterans through the VA Voluntary Services Program. AMVETS posts and departments also participate in a wide variety of community service projects. If you no longer wear the uniform today, you can still serve through the AMVETS by joining today at amvets.org.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-965-1292. 800-965-1292. That's 800-965-1292.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with the crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information or instant payment, email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
And welcome back to The Sports Life. We'll team in here along with Dalton Shetler. Rick LaLonde, in 1983, a youngster, joined CBS, and he would go on to become one of their key statisticians and research people. He just became a CBS ace. And so as our conversation with Rick continues, the next topic, favorite memories.
Well, I think the first one you go, but not only the first event that you worked is always something that you remember, but some of the things I think was working Julius Erving's last game. It was a playoff game up at Milwaukee, and everybody was kind of clamoring around, and one of the cameramen says, well, I'm going to get my press pass autographed, and so did I. And I went into the press room and got a final stat sheet, a couple of copies from the photocopy machine, the mimeograph machine back then, and had him sign those too. So those were in a collection of souvenirs. But and also Ray Meyer's last game up at St. Louis. They were really struggling to stay with Arkansas, I believe it was, up at the St. Louis Coliseum, and Ray's wife was sitting in the front row, blessing herself, and she could just see that the end was coming near, and it was a struggle. It was really emotional to see that a nice guy like Ray Meyer was coming to an end on his career also. Meeting Muhammad Ali there was the Palace of Auburn Hills. He came in for a basketball game, and he was sitting there with some other handlers and some people like that. And I walked over, and there were some other people trying to get his autograph, and they were handing out pamphlets that were already pre-signed. And they handed it to me, and I said, no, that's not what I walked over across the floor to see. You know, I wanted to get him to sign something for me. It's to just sign a piece of paper, and because if I get an autograph, it's got to be signed in front of me, so that I know it's real. And Muhammad was sitting there, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I just kind of put my fist on my chest and kind of gave him a signal, and he just kind of smiled, and he says, okay, and he motioned for me to come over, and he signed it, a piece of paper right in front of me when his handlers didn't want him to sit there and sign things, but he signed it, and he just smiled and kind of gave me a fist bump, and away I went. But that was kind of a stunner. The NBA playoffs with the Chicago Bulls and the Pistons, those years, I had a player by the name of John Paxson who played his high school ball in Ohio at Kettering Alder High School, and then he went on to Notre Dame, and he was out on the floor before a Bulls game one day, and there was nobody else in the arena, and I saw him shooting, and I come up on the floor, and I said, there he is, John Paxson from downtown Kettering, Ohio, and he just kind of laughed. He says, you know about Kettering? I said, yeah, I covered you when you were in high school, and from then on, we kind of had a relationship, friendship, and I got with my press pass. I was able to get in the locker room, and I would go down in the locker room before some of the games and sit there and talk with him. And you'd be sitting there, and there was another guy by the name of B.J. Armstrong, and was sitting there, and out came Michael from the training room, and he's sitting there putting his shoes on and getting ready for the game, and we're just kind of sitting there having a nice conversation, real relaxed conversation, and I went out after they said it was the 10-minute cooling off period when everybody had to leave the locker room. Well, I'd leave, and then you walk out in the arena, and there's 20,000 people there in the old Chicago Stadium cheering and everything. And I said, oh, my God, what was I just doing? You know, I'm sitting there holding a friendly conversation with these mega stars, and it was pretty incredible feeling there.
I wanted to ask you, because you talked about you getting the box score signed by Dr. J. You had some of these conversations. You get an autograph from Muhammad Ali. And you talked to us before we actually started this interview and said that you keep all your credentials. And we're talking about 4 decades now that we're spanning across with all these credentials, all these different little mementos. How many do you think you might have, and where do you keep all of these? Do you have something you've built with these?
I have them in a box, basically. I've just been tossing them in a box, and I figured, well, when I retire, then I'll go through some of those and put them in a scrapbook or log them in somewhere or some way. But I do know that I've got at least a couple of thousand events, a couple of thousand games that I've worked in the last 39 years, and it's getting to be a pretty big box. So they just kind of get tossed in there, and it's going to be a collection and something I'm going to do after I retire, after I stop. But from college football and basketball, and I did a couple of years of Notre Dame football, and one of our sideline reporter was O.J. Simpson, and we were in the press box up at the old Notre Dame Stadium, and the guy in the box next to us on one side was Father Hesburgh, and the guy coming out of the VIP box next to us on the other side was a guy by the name of Regis Philbin. So, and I would have to leave our regular broadcast box to go out and at halftime, because they'd bring another camera into the broadcast booth, and I'd have to get out of the way. So I'm out there standing, and all of a sudden here comes this guy, and he starts talking about the game, and and wanted to know what I was doing, and told him, and we started talking about stats. So every time I'd work a game at Notre Dame, if he was there, he would come out and talk with me. But that and let's see, the Indy 500. I was at the Indy 500 one year, and I was standing outside in the entryway, and it just happened to be accidentally. I walked out, and there's the platform where the main speakers were doing the opening ceremonies, and there was Bob Hope standing there doing a speech, and I'm just standing there looking around, and this guy comes over and stands beside me, and he was about my age, and come to find out he was actually my age. So he says, "Man, I've never seen a crowd like this, and it's just huge. I've never seen this many people before." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I've never been here before." And I looked at him and I said, "You look kind of familiar." And he says, he stuck his hand out and says, "Yeah, Ron Howard. Here was Opie from the Andy Griffith Show." And it was kind of a stunner there too. So he had to go up to a press box, but that was before selfies were invented. But I did take a picture of him walking away, and he kind of smiled at me and kept walking. But there's been a lot of opportunities, a lot of events over the years, because I had those seats at the Indy 500 for about 30 years too.
Well, Rick, I really appreciate you taking the time, sharing all these memories, and I hope you have a great Final Four. And I know I'll see you somewhere along the way, and I just appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Will. It's a lot of great memories and a lot of honors, and I really appreciate you getting with me today.
Rick LaLonde, just think about all the names he mentioned, all those memories he has. Can't buy that kind of stuff. When we come back, our parting shots in just a moment.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little. But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So, what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy. And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-298-9093. 800-298-9093. 800-298-9093. That's 800-298-9093.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope. Furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
We'll be back with more in a moment. This is The Sports Life.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player. No matter the challenges I face every day in the NFL, my mom is always there for me, despite her own struggles with muscular dystrophy. And MDA is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today. Thank you.
And welcome back from the Sports Life. Will Teeman here along with Dalton Shetler. Well, good show. We had a visit with one of the really interesting individuals and personalities of the Big Ten, Jaxon Kohler, and a chance to reflect on some of the great moments and behind-the-scenes stuff with Rick LaLonde was really good. But now it is time for the parting shots.
Which, by the way, also means it's time to remind you to give us a follow at Sports Life Now on Twitter or X. That's, again, at Sports Life Now. We'll have everything posted there. But for my parting shot, I wanted to highlight what we've just witnessed with the Big Ten Conference. It's been a banner year in a lot of different ways. When you think about in football, you had a national champion being Indiana. That's 3 straight years the Big Ten has claimed the national title in football. But take a look at what we're seeing in the winter sports right now. 6 Big Ten teams make it from the men's basketball league into the Sweet 16. You have women's basketball continuing what's been a dominant year, one of the best maybe ever in Big Ten history. And in Big Ten hockey, there's a collection also into the NCAA tournament on that front. And that's something that head coach Tom Izzo, of course, the dean on the men's side, took a lot of pride in when you reflect back on what's been accomplished this year.
Well, pretty exciting time. I think we got 6 teams in, and I think UCLA could have got in, and I think Wisconsin was one of the better teams. So I think it speaks volumes about our conference. And when you look at it in general for the winter, for this whole year, football doing as well as it did nationally, women's basketball getting 12 teams in, our hockey teams, I think we got 3 or 4 hockey teams in. I'd say the Big Ten is flexing its muscles in that respect, and I'm a Big Ten fan for all the teams that are playing right now. But this time of the year, it's great to still be playing.
It most certainly is, and a lot of Big Ten teams still in action, but it means a lot more when it comes from somebody like Tom Izzo than when Dalton Shetler says it. But nonetheless, it's a big year for the Big Ten.
Don't sell yourself short. Come on,
Tom
Dalton.
Izzo, Dalton Shetler.
It's pretty close. I want to take a moment to congratulate Braden Smith, the point guard at Purdue. He's a senior. This is not breaking news, but the All-American point guard for the Boilermakers did pass Bobby Hurley's all-time record for career assists. That record lasted 33 years. The magic number was 1,076. He's heading into the Sweet 16 at 1,083. That is amazing all by itself. I mean, this is an individual that not a lot of D1 programs wanted. He didn't look the part. He's a little short, not real big, but yet he is one of the best to ever play college basketball. But here's the other one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If that was not enough, think about this. Think about the entire history of college basketball. All the great players we've had. In his career, and it's still going, he has scored over 1,500 points. He obviously has over 1,000 assists and over 500 rebounds. He is the only one in the history of Division I college men's basketball that has ever done that.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And with that, that's a wrap for this week's show. And we should also note that you can find us wherever you find your podcasts like SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple. And make sure to check us out and hit subscribe. As always, thanks to the Big Ten Network. The Sports Life is produced by Dalton Shetler. And our executive producer is Wendy Hart. So on behalf of Dalton, I'm Will Teeman, and thanks for your time.